Today we are beginning what could be the longest series on this channel, a Boston Bruins rebuild slash retool. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. You guys wanted this, so let's get into it. Let's waste no time. This is what the Boston Bruins did this year. We went 26, I don't even know what that is, but we are second last in the NHL. That is absolutely horrible. As you can see, we really need goal scoring. Our goals against wasn't awful because we have Swayman. Our power play wasn't awful. Our PK wasn't awful. We just could not score at 5-on-5. See, Mittelstadt, what a season. David Pastrnak had 53. I mean, some of the boys were buzzing. Some of the boys were not really buzzing. We had a lot of our young guys in the AHL apparently. Honestly, I just did coach's best lines. I didn't even look, to be honest. So here's how year one went. Mikko Rantanen and the Dallas Stars won the Stanley Cup. If you haven't watched our Dallas Stars Dynasty series, episode 1 is out now, and they beat the Toronto Maple Leafs. Their awards: Nathan MacKinnon wins the Art Ross and the Hart. Cale Makar wins the Norris. Marner wins the Lady Byng. There's Demidov. Conn Smythe, Matt Duchene. The Vezina goes to Audie. Coach of the Year goes to Mike Sullivan. Definitely not our coach, and I'm pretty sure our coach got fired. Not only did our coach get fired, apparently everybody got fired. So we have no coaches, so we have to rebuild this staff from scratch because we had Jim Montgomery, and yeah, we all know how that ended. No way to prove this to you guys, but I haven't looked at what pick we got in the draft lottery. I'm waiting to see that with you guys on draft day. But here is what we have in our team. So obviously David Pastrnak is our best player. Usually I start from the goalies, but this team's that discombobulated that I did not. Casey Mittelstadt as well. He is going to be a great player for us. Morgan Geekie, Matthew Poitras, and Fabian Liesel. These guys are our future. Kastelik for some reason has medium top 6. Oliver Wahlstrom has low top 6. But I mean, the main players in this team to watch out for: Pastrnak, Mittelstadt, Geekie maybe. We'll see what we do in the offseason, right? Poitras, Liesel, Lindholm's going to be here for a while. Pavel Zacha. I mean, our forwards are an E. Our defense is also an E. Looks like we really need forward prospects badly. Defense, our prospects are okay, but I don't really see any prospects here that are really good. But we have Lindholm and McAvoy, obviously. We have Mason Lohrei as well as Zadorov. I'm pretty sure he has a no movement clause. And I mean, in net we have Jeremy Swayman. So goalie is apparently our best attribute here, which, you know, I can see. But yeah, and 2 E's on offense and defense, that really badly needs to change, and we have a lot of contracts to go over and all that stuff. There's no point of starting in the season. This team's not going to be in the playoffs. So let's start here with the NHL draft. And what pick do the Boston Bruins have in the NHL 25 sim? We have pick number 1. Oh my goodness. The Boston Bruins, as of right now, cannot get the number 1 pick. But I think a very reasonable pick that they can get is number 3, number 4, number 5, one of these guys. So we might be trading the number 1 pick to make it realistic, or just take a guy down there. Look at any drafting or anything. I want to get rid of this team's bad contracts. You know, basically start from scratch. So nobody wants Korpisalo, so our 2 goalies are 100% set. Andrew Peeke is a guy, though, I'd be willing to move if the right offer came up. There's not much here, but a guy like Scott Morrow could be very, very useful. I don't know how he's looking in this game. We do have Fog of War on, but I know Scott Morrow is a really good prospect in real life. If we look at his stats here, he's a great skater. He's an offensive defenseman, which we don't really have. And I mean, we could take a chance on a guy like this, so I like this type of a trade. Guys like Pavel Zacha and Morgan Geekie, we will only trade if we get a first round pick or like an offer we literally cannot resist. And I mean, that is a crazy offer. Okay, so Morgan Geekie may be getting moved, but that is not something we are going to talk about right now. Let's check out this draft class and see what's happening here. You have Misa, Schaefer, Higgins, Martone, these 4 guys, right? And I mean, I don't think the Boston Bruins mathematically can't get pick 1 right now. But I can really see them getting any one of these like top 7 guys right here. These guys are, I think, in my opinion, head and shoulders above everybody else. These 7 guys So we're going to pick one of them, and I don't think it's going to be Matthew Schaefer just because I don't think Boston would get him. I don't think Boston would get Michael Misa either, to be honest. Like, Michael Misa seems like he's almost a lock for going number 2. I think the more reasonable pick is one of these guys. James Hagens, Porter Martone, Victor Eklund, Anton Frondel, Caleb Denoyer. We're going to gift a team the number 1 overall pick. We have to decide between these 5 teams. Where do we want to go? Because, I don't know, like, we could drop to 7. Honestly, Columbus does deserve it. Another thing we do have to think about is who do we take with the number 20 pick in the draft if we do trade Morgan Geekie. So we could get Benjamin Kindle here. He put up an absolute crazy numbers there. Could take Thomas Galvis there out of Extra Liga. We could take Cameron Reed there. Jordan Gavin, Jack Nesbitt, this made-up guy. Wisniewski, another made-up guy. So there's a bunch of guys that we could take here. Okay, so we're going to try and swap Morgan Geekie here, who's an RFA who just put up 32 goals. Honestly, it's probably very smart to keep him, but we can get a 20th overall pick that we can draft a really good prospect with. I think that is worth it, and we just got a 1st, 2nd, and a 3rd for Morgan Geekie. So I would have gifted this 1st pick to the Columbus Blue Jackets, but they're in a wildcard battle in real life. The 2nd team I think I'm willing to gift it to is the Buffalo Sabres. I feel bad for Bryce. You know, they've been in this losing battle for a long time. They need to make the playoffs bad. I can see Buffalo getting the 1st pick, and I can see Boston getting the 2nd pick. And if Boston won the 1st or 2nd pick in real life, I can see Buffalo moving up for a star prospect instead of waiting around, you know what I'm saying? So we're going to see if this trade will go through, and yes it does. The Buffalo Sabres are now on the clock for number 1, and we start this draft off very realistic. So our pick at 6 is very easy. Let's see how this top 5 goes. So the number 1 pick in the draft is Michael Misa going to the Buffalo Sabres. They already have a ton of left defensemen, so they go with the forward here, Michael Misa, absolute star both ways. Speaking of a star both ways, Matthew Schaefer goes number 2 to the Anaheim Ducks. They do have a lot of left defensemen as well, but that works for the Ducks. James Hagens goes number 3. So it's going to be Hagens, Celebrini, and Smith and Eklund. That is crazy over there in San Jose. Porter Martone goes and teams up with Connor Bedard. I actually really like that fit. And then the Utah Hockey Club are going to select Victor Eklund. So I mean the top 5 went as the top 5. There was no surprises. And that makes our pick very easy. So let's go. I'll pick the Boston Bruins. Would like to congratulate the Dallas Stars on winning the Stanley Cup, and hopefully we can do that in our real life. Or in our franchise mode in the in the video game. But with the 6th overall pick, the Boston Bruins will be selecting out of the Jordan Hockey in the Allsvenskan, Anton Frondel. Welcome to the Boston Bruins, baby. This is what this team has been missing for a long time. A number 1 centerman who can shoot, who can pass, who can play on the offensive end, defensive end. You know, maybe he's not ready for the NHL right now, but that's okay. We don't need him to be ready for the NHL right now. It's going to be a rebuild, a retool. You know what I'm saying? We're going to try and be competitive, you know, not tank, but at the same time, we're going to try and get these great prospects and rebuild our core. Here we are at pick number 20. Here's how the rest of the picks went. Obviously, this isn't the greatest draft class. I don't know who this is. Caden Hope. Shout out St. Louis Blues, man. Looks like he has a nasty backhand. But here we are at pick number 20, and we have a lot of decisions to make. So I think we're going to rule out Benjamin Kindle, Nesbitt, and Gavin. I think we already have our forwards. We could take this guy, Wisniewski here. He is 5'9", though. I mean, height doesn't matter that much. This guy has all A's, though. Looks very fluky, but apparently he has all A's. I don't really know what to think. But, I mean, we already have a superstar right winger. Could take a goalie, but I think the best move is defense. And I mean, there is a couple very good defensemen at the top. I'm thinking one of these 3 top guys. So first up, we have Thomas Galvis here, put up 16 points. He's a +0. He's 5'11". He plays out in Czech. Then we have Cameron Reed, put up 29 points, +18 in the OHL, right? This kid's an absolute stud. He also is 6 foot, which is nice. And then the only player we have scouting on, TactixHD from the Brandon Wheat Kings, 46 points in 70 games. There's a plus 13 there. Okay. Looks like, I mean, he is very small for a defenseman. His physical is an E, which sucks, but I mean, he has mobility, skating, elite speed. That sounds really nice to me. Cameron Reed's a great skater. I don't know if he has elite speed. Same with Thomas Galvis. So, I don't know what to do here. Ahonen and Peyton Mendez. But I kind of want one of these guys who plays both sides. So we're going to take from the Brandon Wheat Kings of the WHL with the 20th pick in the draft, TactixHD, and hope that elite speed comes into play. What the hell? Franchise low? Previous franchise mode, and I didn't believe it's real. A franchise low offensive defenseman was 86 speed. That shooting is awful. Jesus Christ. He cannot shoot. He is a very raw prospect, but looks like he's fast. He's a big rig as an offense. What is going on? He's 5'9" offensive defense. I'm not going to question what happens in this video game, but that is very sketchy. I've seen him before. We've seen that franchise low in a couple of our franchise modes. We drafted that one guy, Stewart, who had franchise low, and that is absolutely crazy. There's Vishnevsky, a top 9 high. I mean, all of these guys would have been great. Top 4. Franchise low, though. I don't know what to make of this. The franchise lows don't usually grow that well, and this guy's elite medium. Okay. Maybe this guy would have been the right pick. He is 6'5", but he can't play both sides, which I don't really like, to be honest. But we are nearing the end of the first round. Damn, this is a pretty good draft class with all these made-up, created players. I don't even know who they are, but they're absolute studs. Alright, we are here in the second round. We don't usually show our second round picks, right? But I mean, this is going to be a series about drafting. So honestly, we need a right winger. We need some size. We've taken we've taken one guy who's not really big. I think Russ Tripp is the pick here. And he's a grinder, top 6, a perfect Boston Bruin. That is the epitome of a Boston Bruin right there. We have two guys here, Luke Powell. We could use some more depth down the middle. We took a bigger guy in Frondell. Let's take this guy from Russia, and he's a top 9. Let's speed through these last picks. I like this guy. We took a guy with double elite low, and he turned out to be a franchise player. So this guy could be absolutely nasty, and he is a top 6 low. That is perfect right there. We are building this team up through the draft like never seen before. Blake Fiddler's still here? What? He's supposed to go in like the first round in real life. Yeah, I'll snap him up. He has 70. What is EA smoking? But anyways, let's continue, you know what I'm saying? We have to continue. Oh, there's a top 4 medium. We will definitely take that. Ryan Howard, shout out you. You do not sound German, but you know what? We will take that. And then with our last pick in the draft here, who are we going to take? There is a gem elite low, DiPietro out of Norway. Oh my goodness. What is this draft? We had elite lows. We had top 6s, top 4s. Okay, so Frondell was elite. Then franchise low, top 6. Fanagayev was top 6. Howard was top 4, and DiPietro was elite. That is one of the greatest drafts I've ever had. The big players that we can sign, Anton Frondell is definitely one of them. That is an absolutely clutch signing. And then also Mason Lohrei here is our big free agent that we have. I mean, $4 million over 2 years. I'm definitely willing to do that. And Mason Lohrei will accept our offer. The thing we have to do is hire a head coach here. So we have 3 options. Rick Tocchet here. I mean, he's always available. We've signed him twice. We don't need Rick Tocchet. There is this guy who has a 66% team fit. Ruben Raycroft. I know this guy's not a real coach, but like low key, that sounds amazing for our team here. Yo, Vancouver want Ruben Raycroft, so we're gonna have to bring out the checkbook here for Ruben Raycroft. I'm gonna give him 6.9 mil. Why not? You know what I'm saying? Alright, do we have any extensions to hand out here? Let's see, we have Matthew Poitras, we have Fabian Liesel. Okay, let's start with these guys. Matt Poitras, Fabian Liesel wants a 2-year deal. We'll toss the kid $1.75 million, right, for a 2-year deal. I like the sound of that. You know, prove yourself. You know what I'm saying? And then Matt Poitras, I'm willing to toss you 2.5 for 4 mil. That should be an absolute steal. To find some players who can maybe become like impact players, right? But also want to sign, you know, cheaper deals on the low, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard, you know, our criteria is a little bit different than other teams. But I think one player I'm willing to go after is a guy like Morgan Frost at 2.5 mil, you know, hopefully he signs. And Morgan Frost is the newest Boston Bruin. I think another guy we could use is Adam Gaudette. He's a sniper. He could be the sniper on our second power play. We just signed a playmaker in Morgan Frost. So I think for like $2.1 million, let's go $2 million. We can see if he signs that. The guy here, Russ Tripp. And that is a sick name, but also he just like can't play hockey. Like, you have 1-star puck skills, 1-star senses. You have a better shot than our franchise low defenseman. But, like, he has 78 speed, dog. Like, this dude's gonna be like, I mean, I hope he turns out good. But I wonder if we can trade him straight up for Jacob Pelche, get more assets, and maybe even get a better player. Jacob Pelche is really fast, really good shot. We can get a third for 2027 with Russ Tripp, a grinder who we can probably just sign back in free agency when he's available. You know, maybe we're giving up on a prospect too early, but a guy like Jacob Pelche, he's already a third line forward. You see that there. He already has the speed. He's a two-way forward who's really good on offense. I know we're getting smaller, which isn't great, but you know what? I will take a 3rd round pick if we can somehow finesse John Tortorella into giving us this deal, because that would be absolutely meaningful. And yes, throw Jacob Pelche here, 2.25 mil over 2 years, and we're going to see if Poitras and Pelche sign there. We're going to have to sign a couple of depth players, but then we're good to go. Are really expensive, but honestly we could sign a couple for, you know, decently cheap. Henry Okiharu, 1.9 mil, we're gonna offer that. And then Dante Favreau, we're gonna offer 2.5 mil. So let's see. I mean, those guys just, I don't know why, they just seem like Boston Bruins to me for some reason. Croft has signed our offer, so we do have a coach. We did lose our assistant coach to Buffalo, though, which is actually criminal. Why the hell would you sign with Buffalo over the Boston Bruins? That is actually insane. So there's all our coaches. We just need to see our players sign now. I don't really care about this stuff like I do, but I don't that much. Henry Okiharu does sign. Juuso Parssinen does sign. Adam Gaudette signs. Jacob Pelche signs. Ty Smith signs. Fabian Liesel. Matthew Poitras. And that's it, I think. Could do a whole video where we just name a captain, but I think, I mean, it's pretty obvious right now who the captains are going to be. Charlie McAvoy is going to rock an A. I mean, he deserves it, right? And then, I mean, we could go with a guy like Pavel Zacha, 100%, but I think Hampus Lindholm as well. Two defensemen with captaincies on the back end. And I mean, Charlie McAvoy honestly is more of a captain than this guy. But I mean, he deserves it. He's been our franchise player for a while now. David Pastrnak is gonna rock the C. Lines that the CPU put together, low key. When I like had the vision in mind, I was thinking something like this, and then you throw Morgan Frost up there. So it's something along the lines of that. I mean, Zacha would probably play center. What I had in mind here, I mean, this team is looking okay. It's not the best, obviously, but I don't think it's the worst team. Like, I mean, our top 6 is really weak. Definitely our strong suit. So I mean, this I don't mind this team. I don't think it looks great. You know, we're going to edit the power play, obviously. I don't think Gaudette's going to be on there. Hampus Lindholm does get a +5, so we will put Lindholm on there. We will edit up this second power play. It's going to look, you're going to have Lindholm, Pasta, Zaka, Middlestad, McAvoy. Then on the second line, you're going to have Lindholm, Liesel on that right side, Patra, Gaudette on the left side. You're going to have Frost and Zaka taking the draws. And then on the PK, apparently Lindholm doesn't fit, which is very interesting. But I mean, Juuso Parssinen gets us a +5, so he might be here to stay. Then, I mean, obviously in that you have Jeremy Swayman. So that is the team for right now. This episode is going to be a bit shorter than the others, I think. But we're just going to see, you know, this inaugural season. I want to see your guys' advice, you know, what you think of the draft, what you think of everything in this series so far. I want you to let me know what you guys want me to do with this team. And yeah, that's it for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.